NERSA. Madam Speaker. Maybe Mr. Speaker will join us later. I would like to also introduce Advocate Nomalanga Sithole, who is the CEO of NERSA, as well as the member of the Piped Gas Subcommittee. Advocate Sithole.
Morning, Chairperson, members, NERSA personnel, and everyone who's joined us for this particular meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate Sithole. Members, we have a proposed agenda. We only have one item to discuss in this open meeting, and I would like to check if the members are happy to support the proposed agenda. By show of hands, members, if you are happy. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Advocate Sithole. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. I also support it. Thank you very much, members. We now move on to the declaration of interest. There are forms that have been uploaded on Convene. If members could remember to complete the forms, submit them to Mr. Dlamini. But I would like to check if members have any verbal declarations they would like to make by show of hands. Seems there's none, as I don't see any hands from the members. We then move on, members, quickly to the regulatory reports. We have only one matter to consider, which is the application by Sasol Gas for the maximum gas price. May you then take us through the application, the final assessment, which is here for recommendation to the energy regulator.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Morning, members, staff, and the public. Just one note, Chair, on the submission, 4.39, point of correction. It speaks to preliminary, it's actually final assessment. It's just that only point on the submission, Chair. Chair, the purpose of the submission itself is to request the subcommittee to recommend to the energy regulator the approval of this draft decision on Sasol's maximum price application for the period 1st July 2025 to 30 June 2026. Now, Chair, as far as the delegation authority, this matter is before the subcommittee as per section 2.5 of the delegation matrix. Chair, we received the application on the 13th December initially, and subsequently with deliberations and also the initial discussion document was published on the NERSA website on 20 March 2025. And the period for publication was from 20 March to 21 April 2025. And subsequently, there was a second publication of another discussion document driven by new information that had surfaced. That took place from the 19th of May to the 29th of May, Chair. And Chair, all the notices were for both publications were published on newspapers nationwide. And Chair, from the response from those we received 3 responses, and the most of just probably regarding the responses, Chair, with regards to the acquisition costs themselves, there were the public had issues for regarding the acquisition costs, opaqueness, in terms also of the complexity, and also there were issues, or there were flags of transfer pricing that came up. Chair, this was because mainly there was new sources of gas that had also been applied, or that had been a part of this application. And these sources of gas there were no supporting documentations at the time, such as contracts and also invoices for the gas that was already being supplied. Subsequently, then, Chair, I must say that yes, we have received the contracts from the applicant, and NERSA has applied its mind to the contracts, that the contracts are at arm's length. And also from a invoicing perspective, we've also received invoices for the gas sources. And also, there was also an issue, given that the application itself is it's an annual application. However, the volumes data that we had at the time was only for the quarter. We also didn't have an annual supply plan to actually assess for the entire period the volumes for the applicant. We've also have received those, Chair, and we have assessed them, and NERSA is satisfied that is per current supply conditions of the applicant. Now, Chair, with regards then to the application, Chair, Sasol is applying for a maximum price for 1st July up until 30 June 2026. And along with the application, they're also applying for a quarterly adjustment mechanism. And over above that, there's also a clawback for the gas price that they're applying for. And this clawback is, as a result, it's the difference between the approved price for FY24 and the price that Sasol charged for the period July 2023 to December 2023. And then, Chair, also they also have will be implementing a minimum 5% discount over the period to licensed traders. Now, Chair, when it comes to the NERSA's assessment of the application, as I've said, when it comes to the acquisition cost, Chair, the risks that were at the time were more on the price increase side to stakeholders, and given also the transparency issues that we had at the time. And post that, we have received then the information, and one of the risks as well that is that was also at the time was that played in a prior period was the change in the gas mix itself. And this, Chair, has been also dealt with regards to in the decision itself in 14.17 and also 14.18. They specifically deal with this adjustment risk from a pricing perspective. And then, Chair, Sasol is also applying for a trading cost. I must just highlight, Chair, with the trading cost, there are two elements of the trading cost. There's one element which is forward-looking, and then there's also another element which is backward-looking. With regards to the forward-looking, the drivers, the chair are focus. And however, the backward-looking part, those are driven by the regulatory reporting that the licensee provides NERSA. There has been then adjustment on that portion of the trading costs, driven mainly by actually the actual costs, because in the application itself, there were elements of forward-looking, which NERSA has limited them purely to the actual costs, given that this is the costs have already been incurred as per the reporting, what was reported. Chair, with that, Chair, I'd then take the members to the draft decision on 14, where we recommend that the subcommittee just before I actually take members there, I think I just need to also just highlight regarding the second portion of what Sasol is applying for with regards to the clawback on the gas portion of the acquisition costs. Chair, with regards to the clawback, Chair, the way that NERSA looks at the clawback is that the maximum price itself is made up of both the trading cost and also the acquisition costs. And both those, Chair, are clawable, given that they are there's a forward nature in them, and also during the application process. So there will be those differences between what was applied and the difference and what was not applied. So both elements, Chair, the methodology does allow for both to be clawed back. However, Chair, with that being said, the clawback that is being applied for at the moment or in front of NERSA, the assessment of it requires the assessment of within the rules of the clawback, and the rules are very straight, Chair. They require that that we assess the applicant for the entire period. As well, that the applicant provides us with all the documentation for us to do the assessment, and they are not driven by how much the applicant is applying for. So if the applicant is applying for less than what it's due to them, we still need to do the assessment of the entire the entire clawback using the clawback rules, and then we can decide then on the actual clawback amount or the quantum itself. I think then, Chair, with that being said, there were still gaps with regards to the information for the assessment of the clawback. So a clawback assessment was not, we could not actually complete the assessment. So, Chair, with that also being said, then I'll take members then to recommendation 14, Chair. The recommendation there, Chair, is not to approve Sasol's application for the clawback of 180 gigs per gigajoule for the difference in the price between the approved maximum price for FY24 and the gas price charged to customers for the period 1st July 2023 to December. And, Chair, Also not to approve the trading cost as applied for, as it incorrectly includes forecast in the clawback calculation, Chair. Chair, what is being recommended is the draft decision on Sasol's maximum price application for the period 1st July to 30 September 2025, attached thereto as an extra A, and which is the table below, Chair. The maximum price as calculated in table, this is table 25, Chair. And then also, Chair, the quarterly adjustment of the maximum price with a 3-month lag in its implementation until the end of the period, which is 30 December 2025. That on a quarterly basis, Chair, Sasol to provide NERSA with pricing information which reflects quarterly price adjustments to be implemented. And that, Chair, for quarters that the maximum price exceeds 10%, Chair, Sasol must provide NERSA with all the relevant data, commercial justification to enable NERSA to do verification and announcement of the price increase before implementation. And that, Chair, no amendment or substitute of the disclosed source of gas must be used in its acquisition cost calculation for the quota adjustment without prior request and written approval of the energy regulator. And that the minimum of 5% discount from the maximum price energy price should be provided to traders and resellers. That the price, the approved price share is exclusive of VAT, and that the date of the regulator's decision on this matter becomes effective on the maximum price for monitoring purposes, and that the maximum price will remain effective until the date of the approval of another maximum price by the energy regulator. And finally, Chair, that the licensee is required to apply for the maximum price for at least 4 months before the expiry of the current approved maximum price. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Njezula. You took almost 20 minutes, but thank you for the comprehensive introduction. Members, I would like to open the submission up for discussion. Questions, clarity, or enhancements, members, by show of hands. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just got a little bit confused with what Mr. Njezula was reading on the recommendations. May I be assisted? Where is he reading? Is it section 14?
Yes, Chair, section 14.
No, just, oh yeah. He says it's section 14, Mr. Pukula.
Thank you, Chair. Let me just read there again, because I had read the other part, but I'll go to section 14. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pukula. Mr. Mkhize?
In essence, from my side, I just want to get clarity on how you come up with the price. If you build it on the actual price, I think it's important, first of all, to say to yourself, to have kind of under and over recoveries, like one will do in the case of liquid fuels. Because if you've got that kind of a scenario, you kind of will compensate when the acquisition cost actually higher. You would freeze them for a particular time frame, but then allow the recouping based on whether you had an under recovery or an over recovery. So I just want to get that clarity, because for me it's very confusing. And I think that if it's not catered for. There should be consideration to be very unambiguous whether that is factored in or not. And where they've continued to charge the higher price when actually the acquisition was lower, they would then be able to have a payback to the customers. It's in the same vein like you would do in the case of the basic fuel price for liquid fuels, as well as to some extent similar to what you do when it comes to the regulatory the RCAs for electricity. And then when it comes to table 5, I think that number for the price under syngas, just leave it blank rather than put it as it is. I know it's confidential, but leave it blank, noting also paragraph 4.23, which talks to the issues of the price of syngas vis-a-vis the price of MRG. I note that the main difference here is driven by the acquisition cost. That is my understanding. If that understanding is incorrect, please do weigh in, Mr. Jesu and the team to assist me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Advocate Sithole.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenter. Chair, mine it's on the issue of the discount that is said to be given to traders and resellers. I just wanted to check from the team side as to whether in the analysis of the application, including this component, do they deem it to be sufficient if the analysis has been done, or do we just leave it to the discretion of SASOL to determine it? I didn't pick this up in the submission, and I'll gladly appreciate assistance with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate Sithole. Team, please provide the responses to the questions straight to the point, please. Let me go to Mr. Bugula first so that you can answer all the questions. Mr. Bugula, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. The sentence that was confusing me was that number 5 of this decision. So I'm not sure if I'm reading in the right page, but it says that for quarters with the minimum price adjustment exceeding 10%, Sasol Gas must provide NERSA with all relevant data. I just want to understand if this works in line with the other things that we are saying that they must provide us with information 4 months before, and what is this trying to show? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bugula. Please, can you assist each other in terms of the responses and go straight to the point without going around, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with Mr. Bukula's question. I think, Chair, the 10% was introduced mainly as I think what we were trying, the risk there that we're trying to mitigate is the risk caused by the change in the gas mix. Without changes, because the prices of the sources are different themselves. However, there is a little bit of an arbitrage opportunity when the cheaper gas is reduced and more expensive gas is procured. So if then the price goes above that, then the 10%, then we were saying that then we would have to look deeper then into that if that's not the cause, because most of those issues happen upstream, Chair. So I think that's what was what we were trying to mitigate there, Chair, with regards to the 10%. And then
I think we can. I think to take care of, because it does show that it will be confusing to anyone. So to take care of that, you can maybe think about how you can craft a condition of that states that there is no other gas, because we've got all of the gas sources here. We've got MRG, we've got PSA, we've got Synfuel and Fuel. What is the other one? The third one, the tranche 3 and so forth. And you know how much they've indicated the weighting and the percentage of each. So you can state that the energy regulator approves these sources of gas as the ones that will form the component of the maximum price for the period. Try to find something along those lines rather than talk about 10%. Let's go to the other questions. Samuel, I saw your hand was up. Can you also come in with the other questions and straight to the point?
Thank you, Chair. I think on the question on how do we come up with the price, are there under or over recoveries, such as in the liquid fuel sector? The straight answer is no, Chair. When the acquisition price is calculated using this new methodology, they use backward data. So they use actuals. In other words, when they are calculating the price for July, they use the data that would have occurred in January, February, and March as an average. So the price that we see as the 1 July price was calculated using actuals that occurred in the previous quarter. So as we are calculating prices, we are calculating using actuals that already have transpired. So we are in fact using a previous month's quarter to price gas going forward. So that's why there will not be an RCA or some form of clawback on the acquisition cost, Chair. I just thought, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Pada. Thanks for that explanation. I think it is relevant. But Mr. Mkiza's question, I'm sure it was in relation to the clawback that the subcommittee is requested not to approve. So the question is, as Sasol has motivated, that NERSA's decision came after July. I think it came in October 2023. Yet the financial year for Sasol started 1st July. So it meant that Sasol had to continue with the old price from July, August, September, up until October or even to December, I think, because they adjusted it after the decision was made public in October. So Sasol is trying to claw back then the shortfall, since it could not charge the price that the energy regulator approved, because that price only became available in October 2023. So this is the point that Mr. Mkiza is asking. Then when you make this assessment, did you find any under or over recoveries? Yes, there is a table for that. Can you please respond to that for Mr. Mkiza and state all that you need to check is whether your calculations, because Sasol has its own calculations here on table 2022. Now you need to just check, was your calculation based on actual invoices so that you can see how much Sasol has charged? Ms. Makot?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. For our calculations, we based it on the audited information. So we couldn't find the information that aligns with what Sasol Gas is asking for. And it is for this reason that we recommended that it must not be allowed. Now, when we couldn't find the audited information that reflects the cost that Sasol Gas is reflecting for to be clawed back, we then asked for invoices, and Sasol Gas did not provide the invoice. So the main reason why we are not allowing this 180 is simply because we couldn't find evidence that would then enable NERSA to do the verification and come to a decision. It is for this reason that in the paragraph under the clawback, we said because we couldn't have this information, we are recommending that it must not be approved. Thank Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank you, Chair. Additionally, our methodology, Chair, when it comes to clawback, requires us to check what was the actual cost in the period in question. So if your actual cost differs or increased, then we give clawback. So as Ms. Magweda was explaining, we were checking to see if there were changes in the actual costs using the audited information and the invoices. And that was not, it did not occur as such. So what they were asking was rather, we approved a higher price instead of what they charged. So what they wanted was that difference, not necessarily being led by an increase in costs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me, okay, there are some questions. Okay, Ms. Du Plessis.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I would like to respond to Advocate Satoli's question regarding the minimum 5% discount for third-party traders. Chairperson, it is correct that some of the third-party traders have indicated that this 5% is not sufficient for them to compete in the market. Chairperson, in this regard, we note that it is a minimum discount and that SASOL ought to give larger discounts in line with Section 22 of the Gas Act. It is correct that SASOL tends to only give 5% to third-party traders and no more. But Chairperson, we have looked at the sales data and assessed the sales data of the third-party traders to see how the 5% discounts have affected their sales. And we have noted that they have not lost any customers to SASOL, and this is likely because SASOL gas is volume constrained and cannot take on any more customers. But the third-party traders have also been able to grow their operations and they have been able to sign up new customers, which leads us to believe that the 5% discount has not inhibited their ability to grow in the market. Chairperson, we also note that similar complaints that have been laid by the third-party traders with the Competition Commission on margin squeeze has been subsequently withdrawn by them. And so, Chairperson, we do recommend that the 5% minimum discount remain, and it is also aligned with the methodology. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Du Plessis. Mr. Mkhize, are you satisfied with the question that you asked? Thank you.
Chairperson, I'm not satisfied. I would understand if we're saying SASOL failed to provide information to justify the need for a clawback, instead of saying we did not find. If that is the case, it's a different one. So may I please get clarity here? SASOL failed to provide the information that would serve to justify or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Can you please respond to that question? Ms. Magweda?
Yes, Chairperson, is two things. As Mr. Godora has said, we do not claw back asking for, because they asked for the maximum. They are asking that the maximum price that was approved be clawed back, not the actual cost. And that is not in line with the methodology. And secondly, they did not comply with the methodology in that they did not provide the relevant evidence. And it is for this reason that I'm agreeing with you, Mr. Mkhize, that they did not comply. But further than that, they are asking to claw back not on the actual, but on the maximum that was approved. So there's no justification that indeed they incurred that cost.
Ms. Magweda, did SASOL fail to provide the invoices that shows that the price that they have charged, that it was different from the price that was approved?
Yes, they failed, Chair.
Did SASOL fail because you're saying that you've got the invoices? The invoices you received, but when you looked at the invoices, you noticed that the cost did not change, even though NERSA approved a slightly higher maximum price. Now we are refusing to give them the what you call the clawback, because you don't want Sasol, or Sasol should not be allowed to recover at the maximum, when in fact Sasol did not charge that maximum. There's also some implications there. It's a tricky situation, members, if you look at it, because we also, when we approve maximum, we don't necessarily require that the licensee charges at the maximum. So now the team also says that if we grant them the clawback, it means there's going to be a windfall here, because when they look at the cost, there was no change on the cost. Also, when you look at the actual that was charged, it was below the maximum. But in the clawback, Sasol wants to claw back the maximum when it did not actually, incur that cost, or the actual loss was not there at the maximum. So that is the issue, members, that I would like the two issues that I would like members to just maybe weigh in and hear what you think about this, because it is a tricky situation either way, because then it will mean that we will then encourage the licensee to charge at the maximum. Any sort of guidance from the members on this one? It is, it's a period of almost 6 months, and for that 6 months, Sasol had to continue to charge the same price. It could not then charge the one that the energy regulator approved, because it was waiting for a regulatory approval. Mr. Mkhize?
Quite honestly, from my side, I don't think not charging the maximum should be a problem here, because it is their discretion in line with legislation for them to give any discounts. And therefore, for them to claw back, only from a point of view of us charging a maximum, should not be so much of an issue. We can be able to factor in maybe any discount that is mandatory, from our side. But beside that, they should be able to claw back then. Thank you. If that is the only issue, sorry. I know there are other factors, but if that is the only factor, I'm saying the factor of maximum should not be a barrier. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me hear from other members, because Sasol would not have charged a price that is higher until the energy regulator makes a decision. And that decision only came in October 2023. So Sasol was forced to still continue with the previously approved price. And let me check with Mr. Pukula. I'll come to other members as well.
Chairperson, I was quiet because I'm torn between what is being recommended and the view that Mr. Mkhize is expressing. I must confess, I don't have a clear-cut view on this.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Pukula. Well, I'll pass for now. Going to Madam Spear.
Good morning, Chair. I think also on my side, I agree with the team with the proposals that they're putting forward. I hear that there was no price between that time before they came to us for approval, but I agree with what the team has proposed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Advocate Sithole. Advocate Sithole. Okay. I don't know whether can you check, Mr. Dlamini, if Advocate Sithole is still with us? The team has explained that when they made their assessment, they could not see any losses for Sasol Gas when they analyzed the cost. As they indicated that there were no changes on the cost, significant changes on the cost. So there was no losses that they have picked up from Sasol Gas, of which losses now Sasol Gas is to recover through the clawback. So it is that tricky situation. I don't know if members then are happy with the proposal that is made by the team. If they are, then members will proceed to the recommendations. Okay. Members, the recommendations have already been made by the team or read out to the record by the team. May I then check if members are in support of the proposed maximum price to be recommended to the energy regulator, and that the clawback be not approved? I know it is a tricky situation, members, on the clawback aspect, unless members have some innovative recommendations as to how we can treat the clawback. But for now, going to the energy regulator, members, the recommendations have been made. By show of hands, members, if you are in support of the recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Madam Sbiya. Madam Sithole. Thank you, Madam Sithole. Mr. Mkhize, are you happy to support? There's a price that is effective now on 1st of July, hence this special meeting. Then there's an issue of the clawback. What's your view, Mr. Mkhize? In support?
Like I said, I would support for other reasons to not grant the clawback, but not because it's a maximum price. Because clawback applies, because even when they are clawing back, it's still going to be a maximum price. They need to charge lower than that. But for other reasons, like not them providing the invoices or the data to support the request for a clawback, I would support that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize, and thank you to the members. Members, this is the last item to be discussed in the open meeting. I would like to now thank the members of the public for tuning in to